Ozzy Osbourne stopped a girl singing a song, but what he did next shocked everyone standing there. Some people cried, some recorded, and one person said, "I will never forget this moment for the rest of my life." Backhand index pointing right before we begin. Make sure to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness for more emotional rock legend stories. The girl on the street of Echo's London evenings carry a special kind of cold, the kind that sinks into the bones and turns every breath into a thin cloud of silver mist. On one such evening, beneath the glowing street lamps of Camden Town, a small crowd gathered around a young girl with a worn-out guitar. Her name was Alara, 17, thin, pale, tired, but with fire in her eyes that refused to die. She was singing Mama, I'm Coming Home. Her voice cracked in places, not because she lacked talent, but because she lacked strength. Her fingers trembled on the strings. Her shoes were torn. Her coat barely protected her from the cold wind sliding through the city. Yet when she sang, people stopped. Some dropped coins. Some whispered, "She reminds me of someone." Others said, "Her voice, it's haunting." But no one knew the truth. Alara wasn't singing for money. She was singing for her mother, who lay in a hospital bed battling the final stages of a long, cruel illness. Music wasn't her dream. It was her last hope. Across the street, a black car slowed down. Dark windows. Soft hum of an expensive engine. Inside sat a man everyone knew, but no one expected to see tonight. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness himself, he had stepped out for a quiet walk, hoping to clear his mind from the noise of touring, interviews, and the endless demands of fame. But the universe had different plans. The moment that froze time, Ozzy stopped walking the moment he heard the girl's voice at he first. He thought he was imagining it. A young street singer covering his song wasn't new. But this voice, the way it cracked, the way it trembled, it carried pain. Real pain. He turned his head slowly, lowering his dark glasses just enough to see clearly. There she was, a fragile girl pouring her heart into a song he had written during one of the darkest periods of his life. People around her had no idea what those lyrics truly meant. But Ozzy knew. He felt every word deep in his chest. Something pulled him toward her. Something almost spiritual. He walked closer. Every step made the crowd look up, whisper, gasp. "That's Ozzy? No way! Is that really him?" Alara didn't look up. She was too lost in the song. Too lost in the hope that maybe today she'd earn enough for one more night of hospital fees. Ozzy reached her just as she began the chorus. "Mama, I'm coming home." Her voice broke completely. Tears spilled onto the guitar. She tried again, failed. Her trembling hand stopped playing. Her shoulders collapsed, and she whispered, "I'm sorry, Mom. I'm trying." The crowd looked away, embarrassed by the rawness of her grief. But Ozzy didn't look away as he stepped forward, put his hand gently on her guitar, and stopped her. The street fell silent. Every head turned. Alara froze. Slowly, she lifted her eyes. And when she saw who was standing in front of her, her lips parted. Her breath vanished. The world seemed to tilt. "Oh, Ozzy Osbourne," she whispered. Ozzy gave a small, sad smile. "Yes, love. It's me." The question that shattered him, Ozzy knelt down to her level, gently lifting her chin. "Why were you crying while singing my song?" he asked softly. Alara bit her lip. She didn't want to answer, but the truth burst out anyway. "My mother, she loved your music. She always said your songs were the only thing that kept her alive after my father left. And now she's in the hospital. The doctor said she doesn't have much time left. I'm singing to pay for her treatment." The crowd gasped. Ozzy's eyes softened. For a moment, he wasn't a rock legend. He was just a father, a husband, a man who had known loss, addiction, brokenness, and redemption. "How long has she been sick?" he asked. 3 years, Alara whispered. "But this last month, she's fading. And you're doing all this alone?" Alara nodded. A tear slid down her cheek. That Ozzy's throat tightened. He remembered his own mother, her support, her warmth, her belief in him long before the world cared. "Can I ask you something?" Alara said suddenly. "Anything, love." Her voice cracked. "What do I do when the only person I'm living for is dying?" That question was a knife. Ozzy felt it deep. Because once, long ago, he had asked himself the same question. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he placed both hands on her shoulders. "Love, that person never truly leaves. They stay inside your music, inside your heart, inside every breath you fight for. If you keep singing, you keep them alive. You understand? Ilera nodded slowly, tears streaming. The crowd watched silently. Someone recorded. Someone wiped their eyes. Ozzy stood up, and the next words he spoke changed her life forever. "Give me the guitar." "Stand up, love," Ozzy said. Ilera rose, confused. Ozzy extended his hand. "Give me your guitar." The crowd exploded with gasps. Ilera's heart jumped into her throat. My guitar? Sir, it's old. The strings are damaged. The tuner doesn't even work properly," Ozzy chuckled. "Good. Sounds like most of the guitars I've used." The crowd laughed softly. Ilera hesitated, then handed it over. Ozzy held it gently, respectfully, as if it were made of glass. He strummed it once. The sound was rough, uneven, broken. Ozzy smiled. "A perfect match for me," he said. And then Ozzy Osbourne began to play, right there, on a cold London street, with a battered guitar, in front of a 17-year-old girl who had lost almost everything. The crowd grew so large it blocked the street. People hung out of windows. Taxis stopped. Phones came out. Ozzy's voice, age, raw, powerful, echoed across the night. "Mama, I'm coming home." Ilera covered her mouth, sobbing. Ozzy looked directly at her as he sang. Every word carried weight. Every note carried healing. When he finished, London erupted into applause, so loud it shook the street. But Ozzy wasn't done. He handed the guitar back to Ilera and said, "Now you sing." "What? I know I can't." "Yes, you can. And I'm singing with you." The crowd cheered. Ozzy started the opening chords. Ilera's voice trembled, but grew stronger with each line. Point 2 voices, point 1 legendary, point 1 unknown. Singing the same song for the same purpose. People filmed. People cried. People said, "This moment, it's bigger than music." When they finished, Ozzy wrapped her in a gentle fatherly hug. "You're stronger than you know," he whispered. But then, he did something that shocked everyone even more. The call that changed everything. Ozzy pulled out his phone. "Ilera, what's the hospital your mom's staying in?" Her eyes widened. "St. Mary's, Ward C." Ozzy nodded and walked a few steps away. The crowd listened. He made a call. A special call. A call that only someone like Ozzy could make. "Yes, hello? It's Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne." "Yes, the real one. Listen, I need a private room ready at St. Mary's. Immediate transfer. And I'm covering all costs. Everything. Don't argue, just do it. Lives can't wait." Ilera fell to her knees. People gasped. "Ozzy, no. Please, you don't have to." Ozzy walked over, knelt beside her, and wiped her tears. "Yes, I do. Music saved my life. Now it's my turn to save yours." The crowd quieted. Never in their entire lives had they seen Ozzy like this. Pure, gentle, human, fatherly. He helped her stand. "Let's go see your mom." The hospital miracle. They reached St. Mary's within minutes. Security escorted Ozzy and Ilera through. Doctors were waiting. Nurses were whispering. People were in shock. Ozzy walked straight into her mother's room. To Ilera's mother, thin, pale, struggling to breathe, opened her eyes slowly. Ilera rushed to her. Mom, he's here. It's Ozzy Osbourne." Her mother blinked weakly. A faint smile appeared. I know that voice anywhere." Ozzy approached the bed gently. "Hello, love." Tears filled the woman's eyes. You were my light in the darkest days." Ozzy took her hand, kissed it softly. "And now I'm here to return the favor." Ilera's mother cried silently. Ozzy sat beside her. He stayed for hours, talking, laughing softly, sharing stories, giving her strength no medicine could ever provide. Before he left, he whispered something in her ear, and no one ever learned what it was. But Ilera's mother smiled the first time in months. And for Ozzy, that was enough of a gift that no money could buy before leaving the hospital. Ozzy handed Ilera an envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Open it." Inside were heavy checkmark, a brand new guitar voucher, heavy checkmark, a paid-in-advance scholarship to a music academy, heavy checkmark, enough funds to support her and her mother for an entire year, heavy checkmark, a backstage pass to every show he would perform next year, heavy checkmark, and a handwritten note. "For Ilera, you are not just a singer. You are a warrior. Never stop fighting. Never stop singing. Ozzy Osbourne, Ilera burst into tears. She hugged him again, not as a fan hugging a rock legend, but as a daughter hugging a guardian angel. Ozzy squeezed her gently. Your family now. The ending that became a beginning days later. Something incredible happened. Ilera's mother's condition stabilized. She grew stronger. Doctors said they had never seen such rapid improvement. Ilera visited Ozzy during one of his private rehearsals. He handed her a microphone. You ready? For what? Ozzy grinned. To sing with me on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. She froze. You're joking. I never joke about music. And so she performed, not on a street corner, not in the cold, not with tears, but on one of the grandest stages in the world. And when she sang the opening line, Mama, I'm coming home, Ozzy stepped beside her. The audience rose. People cried. People cheered. People whispered, that girl, she was born for this. But only Ozzy knew the truth. She wasn't born for music. She was born for love. And that love, her mother's love, had carried her all the way to this moment. Ozzy's final words to her after the show, Ozzy put his arm around her shoulders. You know, Ilera, people think I'm a legend because of my music. You're more than that, she whispered. Ozzy shook his head gently. No, love. Tonight, you reminded me why I started singing in the first place. It wasn't fame. It wasn't money. It was pain, and the hope that someone out there would hear my voice and feel less alone. Ilera smiled tearfully. You saved my life, Ozzy. He looked at her with softness few had ever seen. No, love, you saved mine. If this emotional story touched your heart, then please, backhand index pointing right, like this video, backhand index pointing right. Share it with your friends, backhand index pointing right. Subscribe to our channel, Voices of Darkness, backhand index pointing right. Help us reach our target of 1,000 subscribers. Backhand index pointing right. And if you truly love Ozzy Osbourne, then share this video everywhere and prove your love.